Welcome to your favorite podcast, Two Qs in a Pod. Welcome by my co-host, John Webb. How are we doing today?
I mean, have we lost yet? 4-0.
Uh,
Hard to say I'm bad.
really, really tough circumstances. Given they take care of business, we could have a matchup in Tuscaloosa where game day is there, so that'd be a lot of fun.
Watch out. Watch out. Man, it's just, again, regardless of what happens from this point out, I'm just thrilled we're in these conversations and you know, that we even get to talk about this stuff. We haven't gotten to in a long time, so let's enjoy it.
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. Taking it each day at a time.
Yep.
Just need Diego to stay healthy. It'll be a fun football season for us
Amen.
Commodores.
Amen. Man, well, look, I'm just going to say this weekend was interesting. I saw some interesting things, and I'm going to start with Friday night. You know, I always love Friday night's great because you usually have one or two standalone games that you go to dinner, you're kind of peeking in, you maybe watch the second half. If you're like me, then you have your phone at dinner, you watch the whole thing. But I have not seen a worse football team in my life than Oklahoma State, and we're not going to talk any more about it, but that's my comment. It's the worst football team I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can second that. I was one to be on the Tulsa side, so that was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Free money
Well done. Iowa, great job finishing that game. I don't think it's 38 points more than they scored all of last year combined.
all
It might
year.
be,
Yes.
might be, but they were in a shootout there.
Great win.
And then,
Last week had some great games.
yeah, we were on opposite sides for this one. I was on Arkansas, and most of my exposure was on Arkansas live money line. Sometime in the first half, I don't know how, but it got down to minus 130, and they end up taking, I think, a 17 or 18 point lead into halftime, and they were by far the better team. Fourth quarter comes around, Arkansas is up, I think, two scores still, and they crossed the 33 times in the fourth quarter, and they get 0 points out of those. Inexcusable. Don't know how they lost, but great job by your Memphis Tigers.
Yes, thank you. That was a podium pick, I think, last week.
Yep. Yep. Well done.
It was a fun game, back and forth. Speaking of Arkansas, and we'll get into it this weekend, but I do like the Razorbacks bounce back.
Yeah. We'll get into that. Finishing some recaps. I got to say, SMU, TCU, the score is not representative of how close that game was. I think that it makes me sad. I think Josh Hoover is good and TCU is a good football team. I do think SMU is a little better than 11 points worse than TCU. But the last one I'm going to talk about is Utah, Texas Tech. We were all so excited for that game. We thought that they finally had a quarterback. I was high on him. I've mentioned it multiple times on here, and all I have to say is I apologize. I don't think it was a Dampier fault. I think it was one of the worst called offensive games I've ever seen. Sending a tight end on an arrow route of 1 yard every other play is just not it. I'm sorry, it's not it. You got to stretch the field vertically, and they didn't, and they couldn't, and it was terrible. That's all.
So you learned a lesson to not bet on Utah.
I'll probably go right back to it. I like to think they learned from it. I mean, shoot, I'm never going to write off a team. It's going to take a lot for me to write off a team, just like Clemson. They start 1-3.
You could save yourself a lot of money by writing teams off. They're just bad teams.
You could, but everybody kind of the lines adjust and you get some better value. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm not excited to take them again. I'll say that, but I'll do it if they make me.
Yeah. Well, the Clemson Tigers were a rough one at home, dropping that to Syracuse. The Duke Blue Devils did take care of business against NC State at home.
They did.
So overall it was a good Saturday. NFL, not so much, but yeah, that's kind of the MO of this football season so far. I feel like Saturdays have been great, if not great, good, and then Sundays have just been a downfall. So got to learn to just enjoy the Saturday for what it is and not throw it all out there on the line on Sunday.
Well, that's hard when a team that you like the most is the Texans, and they had a tough start. But
3 plays away from 3-0.
The Texans and the Panthers. I mean, I'm not sure it gets much worse than those two programs right now. But
Panthers covered. They won 30-0 in a dominant fashion
You're right.
against the
You're
Atlanta
right.
Falcons. So
I'm just saying historically, but yeah, you're right.
that might have been the only bet I hit on Sunday.
Well, I'm going to say two more things. I know that we don't like to give out parlays, but I do just have to say my two money line parlays did hit last weekend. We had Oklahoma and Indiana. That one, especially once we got
Thank you
Oklahoma
for the free
done,
money.
was free. And then I think in the NFL, I had the Sunday night and the Monday night game. Oh no, sorry, that lost. Forgot that was the Ravens. I tried to black that out of my memory.
Tisk tisk.
Whoops! Don't give those out. But either way, let's touch real quick on some of the night games. We were in attendance at the Vandy game. It was a blast. I know that people are not going to be very impressed by that, but you need to remember that showing up and showing out every week is important, and to dominate teams like that actually is a sign of a good football team. So I'm so proud of them. That was great. That was so much fun. Love seeing that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think they got up for the drone show at halftime.
Yeah, didn't we all?
Some of the players came out of the locker room to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. And then I'm gonna say Miami, Florida. Florida. That was
Billy's a bum.
That was criminal. I don't know what happened to DJ Lagway. I think he got space jammed. There must be an alien football game going on somewhere, but that was tough. That was a tough loss for both of us.
Yeah. Florida has been tough to tail. And again, maybe I should jump ship, and they're just not a good football team. But if they don't continue to turn the ball over, I think, to your point, they're due for some aggression.
Yeah. Think so too. Keep saying that. One day we'll be right.
Well, that's all for the recap. We can jump right into this upcoming week of college football because I think we've got plenty to talk about.
I mean, I think across the entire sports world, it has been dubbed as the greatest sports weekend of all time. And I get it, and I think it's going to be really awesome. But people are forgetting that during COVID we had, I think it was like NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, everything at the exact same
Masters.
as well as the Masters. Like, I don't think it gets better than that. So
No, I think that point in time for sports historically, that was the greatest.
yeah, especially
Now,
coming
granted,
off
we were in the midst of a pandemic, so it was tough because we were coming off of no sports.
We were coming off. I mean, we would sit. I watched NASCAR for the first time in my life because that's all that was on, and then some Chinese ping pong. So, it was a dark time.
I can't say that I ever watched those. But if we want to just touch real quick, I had a fun tidbit, and hopefully it hits Cassius tomorrow. We got great news today. Earlier in the week, I got inside information on Bryson DeChambeau was going to be out there with Trump on the first box and hit the tee shot. It was 10-1. When I was notified, I took it at 7-1. They took it off the board yesterday, and he was announced as of an hour ago that him and JT are going to be the first pairing off an alternate shot. So you got to think Bryson is going to hit that tee shot.
Wow.
Which was really good intel.
Wow. I mean, I guess you gotta. I don't know the course well enough to know the first hole versus the second hole, and which, because they switch off who tees off each hole, right?
Correct. And it's a dogleg right. And Bryson, there were videos of him taking it over the trees, trying to drive the green. It was an absurd kind of. Apparently, they're coming out to We Will Rock You. It's going to be nuts.
Wow.
I can't wait.
Well, I'll tell you this much. You at least have a 50% chance right now. So I'd take plus 700 or 800, whatever you have.
Correct.
Over whatever it is. That's well done.
Thank you. Enough with the golf talk, though. We can jump right into this weekend. Because we got Army ECU, which, if you're like me, any football game. Rice was on last week, which we didn't shout out in the recap.
I couldn't. It was such a bad football game. But yes, good job, Rice. Rice Rising.
That they are. But I really want to talk about the NFL game, so if you have any take on this Army ECU, or there's a couple games on Friday I would love to touch base on, college football-wise, obviously, but I just want to be the first to say this. I love a home dog, the Cardinals being that, coming off a loss.
Love it.
Seattle's looked great this year. Give me Arizona as plus money.
Love it. Couldn't love it anymore. But yeah, again, coming off of what last weekend was, I do know that Arizona, I think, is not necessarily the best. What are they? 2-1 team? Or yeah, 1-1 team. We've only had 2 games. Goodness, but I like them at home tonight a lot. But let's talk about college football. Go Pirates. I'm gonna say that tonight. ECU Pirates.
Yep.
I'll be riding with them. I used to love that Army team. I still love what they do. Thank you for your service, but I don't think you're gonna win tonight. And then tomorrow night we have
free money.
We've got two great games tomorrow night.
There's some
FSU
really
on
free
the road
money
at
out there
UVA.
tomorrow.
Everyone's going to be all over FSU. I'm going to be all over UVA.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. TCU, Arizona State, also phenomenal game. I don't know who I will be on yet. I really would like to take TCU just because they're getting points. And I think Arizona State had a good showing against Baylor last week, maybe a little bit more overvalued than they would have been otherwise. I think they lost a lot of key pieces from last year. I love their quarterback, Sam Levitt. I think he is a gamer, but I do think he is not taking a step forward. And so I'm curious to see what happens there. But as of now, I don't have a play for it, but I like both those offenses.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't know about the TCU Arizona State game. I like TCU. I like Josh Hoover. And again, I watched Arizona State play Mississippi State earlier in the year, and they did not impress me. So the line moving from 1.5 to 3 is probably saying Arizona State, because I think so far money has come in on TCU. But I'll probably just stay away. All my units will be on Virginia.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. That's one of my picks. I'll tell you which one later. But sorry, continue.
Well, if it's not your bronze pick, I would wait, and I can go ahead and fire off my bronze pick. It is the Arkansas Razorbacks.
I knew it.
I got it at 7.5. Well, it was at 6.5. Bought it to 7. It is down to 4.5 now, and I feel great about it. Honestly, I think this Notre Dame team is overvalued. You're on the road at Arkansas. It's a tough place to play. Arkansas is obviously coming off a bad loss at Memphis, so it's a perfect spot for the Razorbacks to bounce back here. I'd take the money line.
That line blows my mind, and Sean, I hate to say it, I'm 100% with you. That is my bronze pick as well. There's no difference there. I can't offer any more than it's just a phenomenal play, a phenomenal opportunity, and I'm going to take it. And that leads me right into, I'll just go ahead and give my silver pick. It is the Virginia Cavaliers at home. What a great place to play. My brother played there. A lot of great memories, and we're going to have another one tomorrow. Give me Wahoo Wah at home. Again, love Castellanos, love Florida State. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to win, but I do think you better watch out for the live dog.
Always. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. I love the Cavaliers. I will be on Virginia very much so. And that gets me into the silver pick for myself is going to be, again, going back to the Duke Blue Devil well on the road at Syracuse. I think this is an overvalued Syracuse team. Had a massive win last week against Clemson, who was, not to say, a 16-point favorite. So I'd like to think that Syracuse doesn't cover 2 weeks in a row being an underdog at home, which I obviously do enjoy betting, but I will be on the Blue Devils.
My only comment on that game is you do have to watch out. It is Syracuse. Obviously, their quarterback is out for the year, so they are starting their backup, who actually looked pretty decent, but that makes lines weird. So I don't know what to make of it. I agree with you. I think Duke should win that game. I think Syracuse had an out-of-body experience last week, and not saying that Clemson's good, but you start out with a score and then an immediate onside kick recovered and score again. Like it just makes for a weird game, you know? So I agree with you. That's not one of my picks, but all I have to say is just caution against the backup quarterback because lines get all weird. You get line movement. You don't know if it's because of money or if it's because of players. So I'm going to give my gold pick, and I hate to say this because I realize none of these are some of the primetime SEC matchups that we're excited for.
We can touch those. Yeah, we can touch on those.
We'll definitely touch on those. My favorite play of the weekend is ranked undefeated Ohio State traveling to Washington. Washington is unranked. They have, I believe, the second best offense in the country. And they're flying way under the radar. That's a hard place to play. You know it's going to be rocking. I've got Washington +8. Man, I wish I got it at 14.5, which apparently is what it opened at. But I love Washington here. I think it's going to be a really close game. Watch out for a potential underdog there, but I think they get the cover.
Yeah. Traveling across country, the point that I thought you were making, but it'll definitely be rocking out there. I don't know if Washington's up for the test, and I guess we'll really find out because Arch didn't really show up week 1, and that's a home game for Ohio State, so this is definitely their first road test. 8 points is a lot. But I also could see it going the other way. So I will be staying far, far away from that one.
You hit me with the gold.
Oh, my gold pick this week. I had to search far and wide for it. And it is, by no surprise, the Ole Miss Rebels. I don't take them ever. And this is a game that Lane Kiffin should win, and I think he does win. In big-time games, when they're not supposed to win, I don't feel as if they show up. When they're supposed to win in big games, I think they do. So give me the Rebels at home against LSU Tigers.
Wow. I really don't know what to make of that game. I think it's a great game. I still don't know how much I believe in either of the two teams, so I think my edge would be to the home team as well there. But I'm excited. Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup. And then, I mean, it's surprising, and I think it's because it's a good line. Oregon at Penn State. Do you have any thoughts for that one?
Yeah, I don't trust James Franklin in big games.
Yes, that is a good trend to follow. I'll agree with that.
So I will take Oregon with the points any day of the week.
Yep.
I don't care if they're playing with 9 guys.
I know the amount of times I've taken James Franklin in a big game knowing that I don't really like him or what Penn State has to offer. I've got to stop. Something tells me I'll end up finding myself on them Saturday night just because I know it's the right play, even though it's so wrong. So I really don't know. I think Oregon's offense has been so fun, but you go somewhere, a whiteout game at Penn State, it's tough. It's a tough place to play. So I'm excited for it. A second one, I will say, Alabama at Georgia. I think people were too quick to write off Alabama this year. I think that first game was weird. It's game one with a new starter, a little rainy, and Florida State was better than people expected. So I think that Alabama is actually going to win at Georgia. That may be crazy, but I really do think that they are the better team there, and they're going to show it. So that's my take on that game.
Yeah, I will be backing Bama as well. I went back and forth whether, for Vanderbilt's sake, we want Alabama to win or lose this game.
Absolutely win.
But when you take that out of the equation, I think we saw what Georgia's capable of at Neyland, winning, coming back. Obviously, they had their backs against the wall. This is now at home against probably a much superior team in Alabama. We'll find out. I misspoke on Ty Simpson's name. He's actually proved me wrong. He's played extremely well to start the season, and I like him to go on the road. So this is the second time that Alabama will have been tested on the road because, like you mentioned, that first game was in Tallahassee. So I'll be on the Tide.
Yeah, I think, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day which one is better for Vandy. I mean, you can assume that maybe they get a big win, they have an emotional letdown the next week, but I just think at this level of football that doesn't really happen as much when you're expected to compete at a high level. I don't think you have the letdown games as much, so it doesn't make a difference to me, I think, for the Vandy sake. But I think if I had my choice, I'd rather Alabama beat them than us go in and beat Alabama. That's a much more fun way to do it. So, yeah, give me the Tide there.
Love it. Yeah, that's all I got for college slate.
Looking
forward to this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. On to the NFL.
And on with Jackson Dart's first career start.
Yeah, how about that? I think one day they'll notice in New York that the quarterback might not be the issue, but until that day comes, we'll just continue to see the carousel.
Yeah. Poor Jackson Dart. It's really hard to have success in an organization that has just struggled for so long, basically since Eli, to get that position right. And we see guys like Daniel Jones who gets to flourish once they leave the system.
Yeah.
But so I mentioned earlier in the pod that I really like the Cardinals. You agreed.
Love them.
So we'll start there. I again, just think these are two teams where Arizona may not have had the start of the year that they wanted to. 2-1 could have beat San Francisco and started out 3-0, but also lost James Conner to season-ending injury. So here we are, a 1-point underdog at home in a divisional game, short week. Give me the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree. I think short week, playing at home, not having to travel is a big deal. Obviously, the Seahawks are very fresh because they barely had to play in their game. I think they had 2 or 3 special teams defensive scores in the first half, and it was a blowout to begin. So I think their bodies will be a little more fresh than expected. They've looked great beating again the tar out of New Orleans. They looked great against Pittsburgh. So this is a perfect spot for them to lose. So yeah, give me the Cardinals here. And then we've got
got a Dublin game.
First international game. Yes, a little waking cash. Everybody loves one of those.
I don't know what to do with that game.
I mean, I have a problem in that I favor Aaron Rodgers, and it is solely because I think he's the most talented quarterback, and I'm saying the most talented quarterback to ever play football, I believe, is him, and I feel comfortable saying that. And I think I didn't spend a lot of my career or a lot of his career appreciating him for what he was in his prime, largely because I was a big Brett Favre guy, and so that transition was hard for me. And I've started to give him his respect really the last 5 to 7 years, and I wish I had done it sooner because he was a treat to watch. But I still think he's got a little bit in there. I'm waiting for the Pittsburgh defense to show up. Their offense has been good enough to be undefeated right now. Their defense has not been. So I want to see more from that defense. I think they're going to show up against a somewhat depleted Minnesota team that is coming off a massive win. So give me the Steelers in that one.
Yeah. I mean, backup quarterback, you like to think they had a good showing last week. Brian Flores is a great defensive caller. He really put on a clinic against Jake Browning, and not necessarily ready to jump ship on that Bengals team yet, but they may need to make a trade for the quarterback position, at least to try and get Joe back towards the end of the year, because if not, they're out of contention. He's done.
Yeah.
But so I agree. I think the Steelers defense will figure it out eventually later in the season, certainly. And it's scary because defense travels, and so notoriously I would probably say take Minnesota. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm sitting here on a Thursday, probably won't bet on the game. I'll find myself probably on the Steelers.
That's a lie. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be on something, but I appreciate you for saying that.
I don't love it. Is my point. There's not one way or another. Am I convinced to take? But just start your weekend out with a win and take Arizona.
Yeah. Do you mind if we have just 5 seconds of silence for our Rams plus 3.5 last week? Thank you. That was
one of the worst beats of my life.
That was I mean, it's hard to even talk about. And this is not as a bettor. This is as a football player.
Did Philly ever lead with time on the clock?
No. Why is he picking that ball up? Only bad things can happen. If nobody on the Eagles touches that ball again, they win. I mean, not that it should happen. And if I were a big guy and I saw the ball on the ground, I'd want to go score a touchdown too. But, you pick that up, they strip it, and they run it back like, you're feeling like an idiot right now. But just go down. And, that is the reason right there why everybody hates the Eagles. Don't do that. Just don't do that to us. We put our hard-earned money on the line.
A lot of people were on the Eagles.
I don't care.
Unfortunately, the masses were thankful that he took that in.
How do you get 2 field goals?
Did they ever lead with time on the clock?
No.
That's the worst beat I've ever had. They had back-to-back field goals blocked. I've never one. Okay, fine. Certainly not 2 in a row.
No, 2 in a row is criminal, especially for that one being. I mean, I think it was like a 40-yarder or something. Like it's something that should never even.
That guy's got to look into point shaving.
I mean, someone
he didn't do his job, or he got cut.
The line was terrible, but also he's kicking it low. I mean, everything about it, criminal. That being said, I'll probably be on the Buccaneers again because all I do is fade the good teams, and I'll have a miserable time. Except this time, at least I get to back Baker. He has broken my heart
fun.
2 out of 3 games so far this year. So hopefully he breaks the Eagles' hearts. But I think that's gonna be a fun game to watch.
I think the Bucs a great spot.
Yeah, I think it's good at home getting dog. 3.5. The Eagles' offense. I'm sorry. It's just until. I mean, it's hard. I really don't want to be a hater, so I can't. I don't want to go overboard, but their offense is kind of gross. Jalen. They just don't do much that's exciting, but they continue to win games. So he does exactly what he needs to do. Super Bowl champion, good for him. But yeah, give me the Bucs. That's where we'll end it. Ravens Chiefs. Talk to me about that.
well, if Baltimore wasn't coming off a loss, I think I would be on Pat Mahomes as a home dog.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
they are banged up. If Worthy doesn't play, I'll probably be on Lamar because it's Baltimore coming off a bad loss. Kansas City obviously has not started the season the way they wanted to, but again, I don't necessarily think they can just turn it on. They're depleted with injuries both on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So until they get healthy, I'll take another superior or another AFC contender in the Baltimore Ravens coming off a bad loss at home.
Yeah, that one's tough because, I mean, did you ever think that week 4 of the NFL season, and it's way too early to say must win, but it kind of feels like one of those tests of like, do we actually have it in us? It feels a little bit like the Bengals last year, and that every time they were in a big spot and needed to win, they didn't. And one of these teams will start 1-3, and it's not like either of these teams have easy schedules going forward. So I'm really curious to see what happens here. I think the Chiefs have looked abysmal, but I don't. The Ravens have not executed at a high clip either. Their defense, they obviously were down a few very key guys against the Lions, and you saw it. I mean, quarters 2 through 4, they could not stop a very simple dive. Like, there was not even a complex blocking scheme. It was about as easy as it gets, and they just said, we're going to run right through you, and they did, and it made football really easy for them. So I like to think the Ravens are going to respond here, but every time you think the Chiefs might be done, they're not. So we'll see. I can't wait.
That's right. Yeah, I don't necessarily like the fact of fading Mahomes at home as a dog.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think my for sure fire bet lock of the week for Sunday is going to be the LA Rams at home.
Yes. Love it. Against the Colts. Colts have looked great. Again, love Daniel Jones. The stat of last weekend that absolutely blew my mind is we were midway through the second or third quarter in the Colts game, and they punted, and it was their first punt of the season.
Yeah, that's spectacular.
They had scored 15 of their first 17 drives. That is, I mean, hats off to what they're doing over there. It's incredible. But I do agree. I think the Rams are gonna win that game at home against, again, a good Colts team. But I think the Rams win.
Right.
Cowboys, Packers. It's a tough one to touch on. Micah coming back home.
Sensitive.
I don't even know if it's back home. I mean, how that all played out, it's tough.
You're saying it's not home for him.
Well, clearly it's not home. Clearly he doesn't. I mean, he didn't want to be there. Maybe the team didn't want to. I don't know. I really don't know what happened behind all that. Usually when the Cowboys are involved, there's a little bit of mismanagement, but at the same time, it feels like there was maybe some bad advice given. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that. It'll probably be somewhat emotional. I think Cowboys fans don't really know how to treat that. I wish CeeDee Lamb were playing because we are a notable.
You think he'll get booed?
I don't know. I think in a normal circumstance, the answer is yes, without a doubt. The only reason why he might not get booed is because they don't want to give Jerry Jones the satisfaction of thinking he did the right thing. And so knowing, I mean, that I think that fans.
That's such a funny take.
Fans care more about disrespecting Jerry than they do about loyalty to their team. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens there. I wish CD were playing again. I think our offense is I mean, obviously so much better without him. But I do think the Cowboys are going to cover in that game because it's a classic spot of Packers are way better. Cowboys are reeling. No CD. It's just not a good look. But people forget that, we got George Pickens. He could be decent if he doesn't have a little attitude problem. We've got some other weapons.
Yeah.
Apparently Javonte Williams is one of the best running backs in the NFL. So, if the defense could just put me at corner and we've got a chance, I think, because what they're putting out there right now is not it. So we're going to have to make some changes on the defensive end of the ball. But maybe, just maybe, Jadeveon Clowney's going to play and turn the clock back a little bit. So either way, Cowboys +7.
That's a man with hope.
Yeah, you got to keep it. Hope's the last thing we have.
Hope is a dangerous game.
Yes, it is. 2 Monday night games again, which is I love when we do this, and I like this one's a little better stacked. Starting a Monday night game at 9 o'clock is, I don't think, okay. I like this one. Jets-Dolphins is just disgusting. One of those teams will win, apparently. Maybe they'll tie. Who knows? I like to think the Dolphins are the better team, but I really don't know. I think they might have given up already. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Bengals, Broncos. Got to think the Broncos win that game. That's all I know. 7 is a lot. The Bengals still have a ton of weapons. So I think they could maybe hang it around, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a lot of points. But again, you're at Denver, who's coming off a brutal loss. Somebody's going to have to pay for that.
Yeah, true. True that. True that. Either way, excited for tonight. Let's start 1-0 tonight. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Can't wait.
All right, until next week, my friend.
Until next week, always a treat.
Anchor
Anchor
down.
down.